beautiful downtown Albuquerque this morning. Yesterday we closed out the day by visiting a ghost town. Route 66 cut off so many towns, it's really a trip of what used to be there. We are in Del Rio, which is right on the border of New Mexico and Texas. People sometimes aren't sure which state it actually used to be in. Poked around the ruins in Del Rio and you feel kind of guilty because it's fascinating, but it's actually incredibly sad as well. So I think this trip teaches you a lot about history, a lot about politics, and of course a lot about the way people travel and the way we live today. Today we're in the Ultima, the all-wheel drive car. Maybe not going to be put to the test here in the desert, but in Canada definitely something you want to consider. We leave Albuquerque shortly and we'll be in Flagstaff, Arizona tonight. We're still on Route 66. We're the furthest away from the interstate that we have been at any point on this trip since Chicago, which is kind of interesting. We left the Grand Canyon a few hours back. We're on our way into Kingman, and we'll stay at Needles, California tonight. There'll be a stop at Oatman, which is very cool. Hopefully the burros will be out in the street. We'll check back in soon. We're in Kingman, Arizona, which sports the longest stretch of original motels along Route 66. So Route 66 in a lot of parts is starting to come back to life. We're seeing along some of these stretches. Cars, trucks, and Route 66 go together, and I don't know that they've ever come apart, and now we're seeing them all be restored and brought back to life. Oatman, Arizona. It's about 600 kilometers out of LA. This is one of the coolest little towns on the entire trip. We've just come through the craziest, squirreliest driving coming up and over a mountain range. As you can see, burros wander freely down the street. Don't miss this if you're coming on Route 66. It's definitely one of the highlights. Behind me, in the town of Oatman, is probably the most famous building on this street, the Oatman Hotel. Rumor has it, in 1939, Clark Gable and Carole Lombard honeymooned here in room 15. You can go in and look if you want to. The other notable thing about this, when you walk in, every single room is covered with $1 bills, stapled to the ceiling, the walls, the archways, the doors, every single square inch. Back when it was built and the original miners built this town, nobody would extend a line of credit to them because a lot of them didn't come back. So they'd write their name on a dollar bill, staple it to the wall, and say, when I come back, that's for my beer. Some came back, some didn't, but the tradition has continued, and yeah, I just stapled the dollar bill up. We're in Amboy, California. We're on our way to Barstow, actually. Kind of the same story we're seeing all the way along Route 66. There used to be an awful lot more buildings here now. There's still a post office. One man owns this entire town. He bought it from another man who owned the entire town. The only thing open today still is this cafe and gas stop. 5 years ago it wasn't even open, so the hours could be a little erratic. But again, Route 66 still surviving, even as it's hanging on in tiny places like Amboy. Route 66, we're at the end. Actually, we could be at the beginning. I guess it depends on where you're going to start from. We're in Santa Monica, 3,000 kilometers, 7 days, 7 states. I kind of wondered why I wanted to do this, and then I realized when I said I was going to do this, everyone I know says, oh, that's my dream trip, that's the thing on my bucket list, and you kind of ask yourself why, because Route 66 stopped being what we imagined Route 66 to be a long time ago. Start this trip believing you're celebrating what once was. You're celebrating the old. What I've come to understand is we're actually looking forward to the future. There's been so many incarnations of this road, and maybe part of the mystery of it and part of the romance is that so many successive pieces of roadway share one number. You don't see that a lot across a lot of countries. That is join these communities together in history, it's joined them politically, and now it's starting to join them in a future, which honestly, I came through here 5 years ago and I wasn't so certain of that. A lot's changed in even 5 years, and so put it back on the bucket list, put it back if it's something you want to do. It's not for everybody, it's not as romantic as people think. It takes a lot of effort and a lot of time, but the best way to do it is slowly and come along and see what people are doing and see the diehards who are hanging on to the images that we thought were long gone. A lot of this is coming back, and maybe in 5 years from now I'll come back and check it out again. For Driving.ca, I'm Lorraine Sommerfeld. This has been Nissan's Route 66.